Hey, what's going on, my fellow rocket nerds? Welcome to the show, the pre-show. The real show doesn't start for like another 20 minutes. How's everyone doing? Stream's looking nominal? Good to know. Where's everyone from? We got France and Canadians. French Canadians, let's mix them together. Hey, astronaut Jeff. Hello, Hungary. Speaking of which, I haven't had dinner yet. Darn it. Switzerland, Oregon. Oh, okay. I can't keep up now. Welcome. How many of you are there right now? 837. All right. Let's party. So, if you haven't read the description yet, this launch is a satellite launch to geostationary Earth orbit. Exciting, I know. Actually, it's not as exciting as we're been spoiled as spoiled as we have been. It's just not as exciting because this isn't a Starhopper launch, and they're not recovering the booster today, which is kind of sad. But you know what? It's a SpaceX launch, so it's still a good time that we can all hang out together and share the memory in the making, right? Let me pull up my window over here. There we go. Let's take a look at this mission right quick. AMOS-17 mission. Here we go. Mission overview. This isn't completely up to date yet because they already delayed it about, half hour? Hopefully they get a launch tonight because the weather is a little less than 50% positive. But anyway, so the payload. The payload is the AMOS-17 satellite designed by Spacecom using Boeing's advanced digital payload technology to provide increased connectivity to Africa. With its extensive abilities, flexibility, and reliability, AMOS-17 is poised to support growth in a variety of broadcast, broadband, mobility, and data services throughout the African continent. It will be deployed to the 17E orbital position right over Central Africa to optimize service in the region. So geostationary orbit just means it stays over the same spot the entire time. It has matched the speed of the rotation of the Earth. So that's cool. And here's our mission timeline. So at liftoff, which again is supposed to be about 7:23 p.m. Eastern time, unless it gets delayed, but maybe it won't. After that, about a minute after that, they'll hit max Q, and then first stage main cutoff, we all know this stuff. And then after all is said and done with getting the satellite up there and the fairings have deployed and everything, it'll be about 20 minutes until they actually deploy the satellite itself. So there you go. Everything you need to know. All right, so some more sad news, though, is that this is the last Falcon launch, last SpaceX launch besides Starhopper until November, it's looking like, unless SpaceX decides to do like the last minute Starlink launch. But you never know. I mean, last I heard, they were still planning on doing more Starlink launches this year, so who knows? But yes, the next Falcon 9 launch is the JC-SAT, and then also hopefully the Crew Dragon Demo 2, but I'm also hearing rumors that might be pushed to about January. So for those of you that don't know, this is going to be the first American crewed mission on American rockets to the space station since the shuttle got retired in 2011, I believe it was. Might have been 2012, but I think it's 2011. Sometimes if you don't think about that very often, you forget the exact dates. And then, of course, here's our SpaceX video that we're going to be watching tonight. Hey, astronaut Jeff, thank you so much. Footy Nut Guy is back. Yeah, and I'm back as well. I'm the scary teacher. That's right. Get in your seats and pay attention. Don't make me angry. Turn into Mr. Hawkmeyer, as my students used to call me. Oh, man. Oh, for those of you that are on Patreon, I'm going to start answering your questions on our Discord. So if you go to our Discord and you go to the Patreon discussion channel on the side there, I'll keep an eye on that and answer any questions that you Patreon members have. Capiche? What else do I have in the description of my video? Oh, I got a link to our friend Buddy. He's photobombing me today. This guy right here. It's one way you could support the channel is by going over there on Amazon and buying one of those. I get a cut of the percentage, which is nice for the channel, so I can buy new equipment and stuff, or make travel plans to various places, say Boca Chica or Coco, And while I'm on the subject, I do have exciting news concerning that. I'm going to Boca Chica this weekend for Starhopper's 200-meter hop. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed because I got my flight booked, I got my hotel ready to go, and the local residents in Boca Chica are kind of throwing like a block party so we can all hang out and party. It should be a good time. I don't have enough room for food or drinks in my bag, but maybe I'll bring like gift cards to Kroger or whatever grocery store they have out there. But yeah, so I got to thank my Patreon members for supporting this channel so I can take that trip. So Dave C over here on Discord, will I be streaming the hop? So here's the thing. If for those of you that know who Tim Dodd is, he went to the last hop, and Tim Dodd even records the hops live in like 4K. No, he records it in 4K, but he doesn't stream it in 4K. But he gets the live in like he streams it live in HD, and then he records it simultaneously in 4K and uploads that after the fact. That equipment, I can tell you just from my own research, buying my own equipment, costs thousands of dollars. Thousands. A little bit above my budget for my rinky-dink channel. But what I can do is I will be doing live, short little live videos of my trip, interviews with the locals. I'll even try my best to like live stream, and this will all be on my cell phone, so it won't be like the best quality, but I'll live stream, like maybe if Tim's there, I'll live stream Tim live streaming the hop, and it'll be fun. It'll be different. It won't be anything like Tim's stream, but I'm going to document and make maybe like a little documentary about my little trip to Boca Chica. But yeah, I'll be doing some live stream. I just don't think I'll be able to live stream the actual hop with like good quality. All right, that does take some pretty impressive equipment to pull that off. Let me pull myself back up here again. Forgot you guys are looking at that big screen. Let me catch up here on these super chats. Bob the Bomb, happy hopping. Not this time, but yes. Next week, it will be happy hopping. Zykery's back. Zykery Schaller. What's up, buddy? By the way, check my Twitter. You always want me to get on Twitter, man. I've seen you on there, but man, I've been so busy. I've got more exciting news, but I'm sorry I can't tell you about it yet. But it's pretty crazy. Things are rolling at a fast speed, just kind of like I thought they would for this channel. So if you remember back before Starhopper ever launched for this last hop, I was like, this is going to make the news, and the SpaceX community is just going to blow up, and not just my community, but everyone's. And that happened, and things have just been crazy. I've been getting contacted by a bunch of different people, and opportunities are starting to present themselves. So the future is going to be exciting. Like I said, I can't tell you more than just the Boca Chica visit, but in the coming months, things are going to get pretty wild. So make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm sure all you guys have because you're smart. SMRT. Bunch of rocket science nerds on my channel. That's right. Robert Reinhard. Hey, thanks for everything. No, thank you, sir, for participating. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Super chat. All those donations go to the channel. Will go toward like taking trips so I can give you guys more content or buying better equipment. Or if you don't want a super chat, again, we have our Patreon. If you don't like Patreon, then you can buy a buddy stuffed animal. Stuffed Earth plush toy. 0G indicator. It was hilarious. When I plugged that in my last SpaceX in the news video, I got some comments that were like, technically it's not 0G. All right, there's no such thing as 0G. All right, I taught science. I know this. I know you call it microgravity, but that is verbatim what Elon called it, as kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing. So it's just so funny to see people make fools of themselves. And I don't tell them that, but it's just like, good for you, dude. You know your stuff. All right, let's transition.
The Falcon 9 rocket as it awaits at 7:23 p.m. Eastern Time launch from Space Launch Complex.
Tell me if I need to turn it up or down.
Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida. My name is Kate Tice, and I'm a SpaceX certification engineer here at company headquarters in Hawthorne, California. Welcome to the webcast for the AMOS-17 mission, SpaceX's 10th launch of 2019. We'd like to extend a particularly warm welcome to Spacecom CEO David Pollock and the nearly 200 Spacecom guests who have traveled from across the globe to watch today's launch from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. On today's mission, we will be flying Spacecom's AMOS-17, a geostationary communications satellite which will provide internet, phone, and secure communications to customers in the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. We're currently at T-minus 12 and a half minutes until liftoff, and currently all systems are go. Let's take a look at that rocket there on the pad. So that's our 70-meter, two-stage liquid-fueled rocket. The bottom two-thirds that you see there is the first stage, which accelerates the vehicle through the Earth's atmosphere to the edge of space with the help of 9 Merlin engines. This will be the third and final flight for this booster.
All right. If you guys want to hear her talk, and she does have a nice voice, just go ahead and visit their YouTube channel and click on that link, and then you can mute me. So, my little brother has tuned in. What up, Dan the man? And Otter Boy is here. Rip Booster. Yeah, Booster is on a suicide mission. It's quite sad. Thanks for those super chats, guys. Dave is asking again on Discord, what are the conditions for a rainbow mohawk this hop? You know what? So for the last hop, I made a bet with you guys that it would be successful, and it was. So I am not bound to any bet or agreement for this. I won, by the way, for the record. So, but I will say, when I go to Boca Chica, I do have a little bit of a surprise in store for you guys concerning that. All right, it's not what you think, but it'll be fun.
Which you see right there, the pointy cone at the top of the rocket. This protects the payload from aerothermal loads, heating, and contamination during ascent. Once we reach the vacuum of space, we'll jettison the fairing as the second stage continues on its journey to orbit. We will be attempting to recover the fairing halves tonight with our recovery vessel, Ms. Tree, formerly known as Mr. Steven.
Yeah.
Our hope is to catch one of the fairing halves in the ship's nets and then recover the other half from the water with our other recovery vessel, Go Navigator. Our catch attempt will occur around T plus 45 minutes into flight, which will be after our webcast concludes, so we'll be providing any additional updates.
So, yep, they're going to attempt to recover the fairing, which it would be nice if they would start streaming that live, but it's way out in the ocean, so the connectivity probably wouldn't be that great, as we all know from the booster landings on the drone ships. But the reason the booster's not landing this time is, I didn't look into this, but I'm assuming it's because the payload is probably a little bit on the heavy side, and they're putting it into geostationary orbit, which is really far out, far enough to match the speed of the rotation of the Earth, so there's just not going to be enough fuel to land this booster.
In order to clear the way for F9's ascent.
Good afternoon. I'm John.
Yes, John's back. I bet everybody watching this just got smiles on their face.
Just inside 10 minutes before launch. Good news is we're working no issues on Falcon 9, but we are closely watching the weather. Falcon 9 rolled out to the pad with the AMOS-17 satellite at T-minus 16 hours and went vertical about 12 hours ago. Now, the chief engineer held a technical poll at T-minus 1 hour, and then the launch director both the propellant load and launch go, no-go polls at T-minus 38 minutes. Now, the go, no-go poll covers the 10 people who are counting down the Falcon. They electronically click on go in their online procedure. Now, for Falcon 9, we've been loading propellant since T-minus 35 minutes. Falcon 9 uses rocket-grade kerosene, which we call RP1.
Okay, so don't worry, the rocket's not on fire. All right, I'm sure most of you know what's up with this, but just in case for those who don't, the rocket is smoking because it's addicted to drugs. No, I'm just kidding. All right, it's smoking because the fuel is boiling off because they freeze the, they don't freeze, but they chill the liquid oxygen and methane so cold that it liquefies, and then as they put it in the rocket, it starts to warm up naturally, and then so it steams it back off into a gas, and they need to vent that gas off the rocket or it will explode, which would be a great show, but short-lived.
Meanwhile, liquid oxygen load is continuing on both first and second stages. Now, in addition to the RP1 fuel and the liquid oxygen, Falcon 9 also uses helium to keep the tanks pressurized in flight. This helps fill the empty volume created as we deplete propellant out of the stages. Helium load began before the webcast went live. We're topping off until about the last minute and a half before launch. Now, engine chill will begin at T-minus 7 minutes. They're getting the team ready in a minute to open up the pre-valves between the first stage propellant.
Did I say methane? Sorry, I got methane on the brain. RP1. It's just like a kerosene on steroids. Yeah, methane is what Starhopper's using. My bad.
It will soon be flowing through the engines at liftoff. So the Falcon 9's looking good. On the satellite side, the Spacecom team transferred AMOS-17 to internal power starting at T-minus 30 minutes. They completed that at T-minus 15 minutes. They're ready for launch. They're just monitoring telemetry on the spacecraft. The range tells us that they are green, air and sea space are cleared. And the big one is the weather. We had to delay half an hour this evening for launch. Currently the weather rules are all green, but we're watching everything as we go through the last 7 minutes of the countdown. So right now, all systems continue to be go for liftoff at 23 minutes after the hour.
So I don't know if we're back streaming yet. It's showing green, but it's weird. Come on. Work with me, baby. Are we back? I think we're back now. Are we back? Are you guys there? Are you with me? That was so scary. Talk to me, guys. Talk to me, because I care. Stream is back. All right, we're back. I don't know what that was about. We're going to blame that one on the wife. I don't know if she started watching Netflix or what. If she watches this, I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble. All right, let me just set back up here. I plugged in. Usually I have my Ethernet, my Ethernet cable plugged in. I was going off the Wi-Fi because I forgot, but still, that shouldn't have happened. All right, we're good. Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan again. Dan is just paying money to answer my questions. What a good brother. All right, let's turn this back up.
The strong back. That'll be coming up in about 10 seconds. The strong back will recline about 2 degrees away from the Falcon 9. Beginning motion of the strong back. Now we're using hydraulic struts to pull it back, and at liftoff, those hydraulic struts will pull it farther away as the rocket lifts off to clear the strong back. Another event coming up at T-minus 60 seconds is the call out that Falcon 9 is in startup. This means that the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers have taken over the launch countdown. There are 3 flight computers on the second stage that constantly compare commands and calculations.
Okay, yeah, John's talking a lot of gibberish here for some of you. So when he's talking about the strong back, he's talking about this big launch tower right here that's holding the rocket up. They're about to retract it. You can see it's already ungrappled, so it's not holding onto the neck of the rocket. It'll start coming back, and then at launch it will go even further, I think, if I remember correctly. And then engine chill is they got to start doing the exact opposite. Like when you start your car, you warm up the engine. They're doing like the exact opposite. They're basically chilling the engine to prepare it for the harsh environment of these really cold fuels that are about to be passed through it.
LDCE, this is RC on countdown 1. Be advised, the range has got no go at this time. Continue with
Good questions, guys. Good questions. Keep them coming.
seconds if the range does not clear the issue.
Yeah. It's looking like this thing is gonna light, which would be nice. That way I can have tomorrow off.
Stage 2 locks close up.
I know the water. They're probably doing the water deluge system right now, just to make sure it's on and working. You can see it's not a lot, but right before liftoff, they really crank it up and they turn all the water on. I think that's these things right here, maybe. And that's just
LDCE, this is RC on countdown.
suppress the sounds, so the sound and the vibrations don't destroy the rocket. And also to sort of protect the launch pad, 2 for 1. Yeah, but as to why they're running them right down here right now, my best guess is it's just to make sure they're on and running. Or maybe they just like wasting water. I don't know. They got plenty of it back here.
Stage 2, pressing for flight.
LD is go for launch.
Go for launch. One of my mods here is saying that they're going to hold it at T-minus 30. Let's see if that's right.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Yep, they went right past it. Awesome. We're doing this thing. Hold on to your shorts. What's the right expression? Hold on to
Stage 1,
your...
pressing for flight.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
10, 9, 8, 7,
Yeah.
6,
Horses.
5,
That's it.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Come on.
0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Yes.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Yeah, camera shake. Gosh, it'd be so awesome to see a launch. If you've seen a launch in person, let us know in the comments or the chat. Let's see how many of you have ever seen a launch before. Because I have not. It's on my bucket list. Hopefully next week.
AGI power and telemetry nominal.
Shuttle launches, wow. Do your clothes vibrate on your body for shuttle launches or any other
Vehicle
launch?
is supersonic.
I heard they do for a
Coming
Saturn
up on 1
V
minute
launch,
into
but
flight, we're
that's
getting ready
a
for
lot of
maximum
power.
dynamic pressure.
Vehicle has reached maximum aerodynamic pressure.
Nice. Yeah, I'm hoping Starhopper, even though it has one single
You've heard
Raptor
the
engine,
call out. We're through
will
the
just
region
like
of
rock
maximum
my world.
aerodynamic pressure. Vehicle going supersonic as we leave the denser parts of the lower Earth's atmosphere. Falcon 9 trajectory looks good. All 9 Merlin engines are at power. Everything looking good for Falcon 9. We're heading due east from Cape Canaveral, headed to the first of 2 orbits planned for today. Nice view from the onboard camera looking back at the plume slowly expanding as we leave the atmosphere. The plume will get larger as we get out to the vacuum of space. Now today, first stage shutdown is planned for about T plus 2 minutes, 45 seconds. We won't be recovering the first stage today, so that leaves more propellant to burn to achieve the required orbit for the satellite. If you compare that to last week's CRS-18 resupply flight to the space station, on that mission, the first stage shut down almost half a minute sooner than today. We needed to reserve enough propellant to be able to turn the first stage and return it all the way back to the launch site. Now coming up quickly in 20 seconds, a sequence of events: main engine cutoff, the 9 main engines shut down, stage separation, and then ignition of the second stage engine coming up in just under 15 seconds.
Yeah, so could they have used a Falcon Heavy? Yeah, if they would have used a Falcon Heavy, all 3 boosters could have had enough fuel to return and land, but they would have had to pay a lot more of a price for that. I think this mission kind of fell in between the 2 best case scenarios of reusing a single
stage
booster
separation confirmed.
and reusing 3. It just right there in the center, so it's just best to do. Yep, just best to just spin a booster, I guess.
We've had successful ignition of the second stage engine. The Merlin Vacuum D engine is up at power. Turbine speed
Stage 1
looks
STS
good.
is saved.
You can see the nozzle beginning to glow red, a tradition
Stage
for
2
the
on
upper
nominal
stage.
trajectory.
First stage has completed its mission. It's falling back to Earth. As we said, we won't recover it. Coming up next, fairing separation out in the vacuum of space.
Let's do it. Man, I wish they would stream Go Miss Tree catching these fairings. That would be awesome.
EVA fairing separation confirmed. Acquisition of signal being needed.
There
Nice
they go.
view in the late afternoon. Sun shining on the payload fairing. The second stage has separated the payload fairing around the AMOS-17 spacecraft as we're now in the vacuum of space. Right now, Merlin vacuum engine continues to be on power. Trajectory looks good. Stage 2 is right in the middle of the predicted path. Avionics reports their systems are nominal. So coming up, 4 minutes and 15 seconds mark, we are go on Falcon 9 carrying AMOS-17 to the parking orbit, the first of 2 orbits for today.
So even though they're not going to stream Go Miss Tree catching the fairing, I'm sure they're still going to record it, at least for research purposes, so they can get better at it. Last time they did catch it, and last time Elon did share the footage of it on Twitter, so maybe he'll do that this time. But I'm hoping they're going 2 for 2. That would really show that they have this whole thing down. Yeah, they're only going to attempt to catch one and a half of the fairing. The other one's going to splash down and they'll fish it out with another one of their vessels.
So just past the T plus 5 minute mark into today's mission for AMOS-17. In case if you've just joined us, we had a slight delay due to weather over at Florida launch site, but we did take off at 23 minutes after the hour. And as you can see on your screen, the stages have separated, and there we have a beautiful shot of planet Earth as the second stage nozzle is glowing gorgeous red, orange, as it's carrying AMOS-17 to geostationary transfer orbit.
Stage 2 on nominal trajectory.
We have confirmation that the trajectory for stage 2 is nominal.
Did you, Mason? Wow. Talk about cutting it close, man. School's almost about to start. That's awesome, though. Are you working at a bank?
Just after the second stage ignited, you may have noticed a couple of pieces coming off from the nozzle. If you've tuned into our launches before, you see that every time. Those are that's basically just a stiffening ring that we place at the end of the nozzle to give it a little bit of structural integrity for transportation purposes while the rocket is still on the ground. Not really necessary once the rocket has taken off and they fall away.
Yep, so they're not catching the first stage, or they're not landing the first stage booster because they needed to use almost like all the fuel to get this huge, or get the satellite into a huge orbit, geostationary orbit, which is a pretty far out orbit, so they can keep the satellite over Africa. And then they're going to deploy the satellite in like 25 minutes. I don't know if we're going to stay streaming for this whole time. We will see.
At this point in the mission, the second stage is pulling about 3.5 Gs. You yourself may have experienced that. If you've ever been on a big roller coaster, equivalent to that, the space shuttle encountered about 3.5 Gs whenever it was taking off and re-entering.
No, there was no miscalculation or
Terminal
anything.
guidance.
This booster was always intended to die. A very painful death.
So we're less than 30 seconds away from second engine cutoff 1.
Zachary, I'll tweet you, buddy. Just chill.
Like I said before, this is AMOS-17, which will provide internet, phone, and secure communications to customers in the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. We're sending it to
Stage 2 STS is
geostationary
saved.
transfer orbit.
We're just waiting for the engine shut down now. This camera view is from the second stage, pointing at the second stage engine nozzle. And the Earth.
and we have confirmation that second engine cutoff has occurred and that we are in good orbit. So we're about to enter an 18-minute coast phase, so we're going to take a break. But
18
we'll
minutes.
leave you with an
All right,
animation that shows
let's
the
take a poll. Is her hair real or is she wearing extensions? This kind of looks like extensions right here. I'm no pro, but I think I can spot them when I see them. It looks good no matter what, but bye, Mason. Yeah, everyone's agreeing with me. Extensions are nominal. That's funny. All right. So what do you guys say? Should we call it there? Should we stay on just to watch this thing deploy in 18 minutes? Let you guys decide. How bored are you? Whoops. I'm trying to figure out how to talk and do this at the same time. There we go. I think I got it figured out. Keep streaming. Stay on, bro. All right, we'll keep streaming. You guys got to tell me what to talk about, though. I already talked about my one big announcement of me going to Boca Chica, so I got nothing. I could bring my dogs in. It's my go-to icebreaker. Just bring my dogs in. Everyone just likes to stare at them. Lego. No, Dan, don't talk about that, all right? That's for another time. I'm taking questions now if I'm going to keep streaming. Again, I'm on Discord right now for my Patreon members. Just go to the channel Patreon discussion. You guys have priority. It's the way it works. Hey, the Gucci pilot. What's up, bro? Kev, any chance at the end of the broadcast you can bring the pups in? Yeah. My Patreon members got to see a little video last week of a little introduction to my pups, my 2 German Shepherds. Yeah, I can bring those in. Bring those in. Bring those guys in. See if they want to come in right now. Josh asks, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would chuck as much wood until he upchucks. Fact. I'll be right back. I'm going to let the dogs in. Who let the dogs in? I did. Hey, you both came. Wow, look at that. It's a party in here now. Come here. You got to say hi. Say hi. Let me pull this off. Come here. Don't leave. Don't leave. Yeah, stay. Stay. You got a present? You got a present? Ouse. Good boy. You actually gave it to me. He loves his tennis balls. He does not like giving up his tennis balls. As you can see, like, he's fixated. He usually doesn't let anybody take his tennis balls, including me. You have the hiccups? It's very rude. You should never hiccup live. All right. Good boy. Come here. Cairo here likes the Frisbees. As you can probably see on my floor back there, maybe, that red thing with that red circle, that's a Frisbee that had the center of it chewed out because his teeth are kind of big. But he's a good boy. Yeah. They're very friendly though, and they love other dogs. They love kids. My little baby niece was brought over the other day, and Kunu Bears basically drowned her in his saliva by licking her face so much. We had to get her away from him. I let the dogs in. Thanks again, Gucci pilot. Does that mean you fly wearing Gucci, or is that Goosey? Sorry, I'm not very fashionable. My wife likes to tell me if it was optional, I wouldn't wear any clothes, which is probably true. But so I don't know if that's how you spell Gucci or not, because I'm not familiar with the brand. Gaz Vickers, do you play Kerbal and would you stream it? Actually, I do play Kerbal, and I have streamed it on Twitch, and I put them up on my Patreon page. I don't put them here on my YouTube channel because I think a lot of people do that and people get enough of that. But I haven't played it in a little while, like maybe almost a month now, because every time Steam updates it, then I have to, go through and put new mods, updated mods on it, because I use like 10 or 15 mods. So it's kind of a process every time they update it. But yeah, I love myself some Kerbal. Zachary, what's next for your stream setup? I'm not sure what you mean, bro. Got to elaborate a little bit more. I'll keep an eye out for your comment. Did my dogs leave? Nope, they're still there. Like, given the option, Cairo, he's the older one by about a half a year or whatever. Given the option, Cairo will stare at me the entire day, the entire time I'm home. If I'm like working here and I just like, oh, I wonder where Cairo is, he'll be somewhere in the vicinity just staring at me. He's one loyal pooch. Let me tell you, I can't leave him. He will follow me. Even when I tell him to sit and he knows I'm going upstairs, I'll say sit and I'll start walking upstairs and he'll go past me, around me, sit on the stairs in front of me. Like, you're not getting past me, dude. We're staying together. He's so loyal. Hey, Andres. Hey, Gade. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you again. Can't believe I missed this. Everything normal? Everything is normal. Everything's good, man. You got that rewind button. There's plenty of time to go back and watch it. They didn't land the booster, so they weren't planning to. So it crashed, but that was expected. Yeah, so I had no idea Rocket Lab was doing an announcement until a couple hours ago. And all I saw was they did an announcement about them. They are going to start trying to recover their first stage boosters. Rocket Lab is. If you don't know what Rocket Lab is an American and New Zealand company that launches out of New Zealand. Beautiful launch pad out there. And they use the Electron rocket, so it uses basically batteries to supercharge the turbo pumps or whatever, so fuel can be injected into the combustion chamber. And they're the only ones that I know of that use batteries to do that. And people don't use batteries on rockets because batteries are heavy, right? But they discharge, I think, 2 of the 3 of them once they get into space. So they eject the batteries. It's pretty cool to watch. But yeah, they had a big like presentation today apparently, and in their presentation they said they're gonna start attempting to, or at least start researching to reuse their first stage boosters. And the way they're gonna do that is, by the way, everyone tried to convince Elon to do it originally, and that's to, instead of retropulsively landing it like SpaceX does, they're going to pop a parachute out like the space shuttle side boosters did. But then they're going to try to do that Batman, was that The Dark Knight, where that old CIA trick where they catch the parachute that the rocket booster's hanging from using a helicopter. So should be a cool show to watch if they do decide to do it. They did like a little animated presentation so you could kind of see what it's going to look like. But man, hope those pilots have good aim, yo. Last thing you want is a parachute in your rotors. All right, so we got some more questions here on Discord. Let me start. Wow, we got a lot more questions. Hold on one sec. Let me scroll up. I answered the woodchuck one accurately, I might add. How long would it take a monkey with a wooden leg to kick the seeds out of a pickle? Holy cow. If you made that question up, I'm impressed. Well, let me answer your question with the question. What is the monkey doing with a wooden leg? And do monkeys like pickles? Balls in your court. Josh A., how much do you spend on new tennis balls? Oh, that is a great question. Yeah. So my wife has now twice bought a pack of 60 tennis balls, the cheapest ones you can find on Amazon. And Kunu goes through at least probably one a day. And here's the thing, like, we feel bad for him because he had a hard knock life growing up because we rescued him. And so we try to spoil him. But at the same time, tennis balls, if you don't know, are not good for dogs' teeth. They kind of like wear them down like sandpaper. So we try our best to, minimize his tennis ball playage. That's how I play with him outside. I throw the tennis ball with him, and Cairo likes me to throw the frisbee. And Cairo's the one that's still staring at me right here. Yeah. But yeah, so Kunu will go through, if we let him, a couple tennis balls a day. He will chew them till they break, and he can do that in just a matter of hours. You can hear him crunching on them and breaking them. It's crazy how strong and powerful their jaws are. But yeah, it's a good question. So he goes through a lot of tennis balls, and they can be pretty expensive. Am I looking forward to Boca Chica? I am. So I'm gonna be flying. What's that called? I'm gonna be flying. Never. I can't think of it. There's a word for it. It starts with an S. I think it might not. I don't know. I just had a brain fart just now. Not reserve. I'm not flying reserve. But anyway, I'm flying on an as-needed basis. So I'm gonna get to the airport, and basically if they have an open seat, that seat's mine. So I get to fly very cheaply, so to speak. And I'm excited. So I'm nervous because I've never flown this way before. But if I get stranded at the airport, at least I won't starve because there are vending machines and restaurants at airports, right? It will be an adventure. And I'll be sure to live stream from time to time to bring you guys on it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody in Boca Chica. I've been talking with them now for the better part of a year, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be down there for a few days in case SpaceX pushes the hop a day. If they push it more than a day, I might not be able to see the hop. I don't know. We'll see. It depends on how I can rebook a flight or whatever. But my wife tells me I have to be back by the 14th because she's a lawyer and she goes on these business trips too. So these lawyer trips, and apparently someone has to watch the dogs because they can't watch themselves. Then we didn't train them that well. Yeah, I would love to bring Cairo on my trips. You should bring Cairo with you on your trips. Yeah, I would love to bring Cairo. He would be more manageable than Kunu. Kunu gets so hyper, and he's a 100-pound German Shepherd. He's a big boy. Kunu gets so hyper on trips. Like if I get him in the car to take him to the vet or whatever, it's the worst. By the time I get out of that car, even if it's a 5-minute car ride, I'll be covered in slobber. And I'll have like scrape marks down my shoulder because he just goes crazy. He goes everywhere. He gets so excited. But Cairo, he's a little better. Cairo just likes to put his head outside the sunroof. So we're like driving down the road. Cairo's head will be out the sunroof at the top of the car, and everyone will be like laughing as they drive by us. As far as a plane ride, Cairo's a diva. He would demand his own seat with a pillow, mind you. Yeah. And he would lick people because he likes giving kisses on people's faces. So in this day and age, he'd probably get arrested for sexual harassment because that's just the way the world is these days. Can't kiss anybody. Try telling him that. Monkeys hate pickles almost as much as they hate sharks. Good to know. That might be useful information one day. Can I bring you with me to Boca Chica? Yeah, I mean, sure. You can be my my checked luggage. All right. I was just gonna carry on, but I can put a little ID tag on you and send you through the conveyor belt. Good questions, guys. You definitely make this 20 minutes fly by. All right, let's check out the YouTube chat now. Okay, so Zachary, what is next for your setup? Is there anything that you are going to add to your desk setup, like a new mic? Yeah, so as far as new equipment, I could definitely use a third monitor, definitely. But I just purchased, from the good graces of my Patreon members and their donations, their pledges, I just purchased a wireless microphone because I probably will need that for Boca Chica, and it plugs into my DSLR camera that I use for my SpaceX and the news videos. That way I don't have to, be tied down. So that wasn't cheap, so I bought that, and I'm going to be doing a presentation for a bunch of science teachers in a few months maybe, and that will definitely be useful because I want to record that and share that with you guys too. I have to teach teachers. It's going to be weird. But I might get to meet Scott Manley because he's going to be there too. I'm trying to be kind of vague because I want to tell you guys more about this another time. No, my wife is not going to Texas with me. First of all, she's not invited. She did get on me about this. She's like, well, what if I want to go? I'm like, you can come if you want. She'd be more than welcome to come on any of these trips with me, but she'd have to pay her own way because she's the breadwinner. I'm not paying for her ticket. My wife and I haven't been on a trip together for a long time, as sad as that is. We should probably do something together. Isn't that what married people do? Yeah, especially since our 5-year anniversary is coming up this month. I should probably start planning that. You guys, give me some ideas for a 5-year anniversary destination, somewhere local. Maybe Red Lobster. Does Red Lobster sound good for a 5-year anniversary? I'm so new at this. This is going to be my first 5-year anniversary. Tell me what I should do. If I had a chance, would I work at SpaceX? It depends on what they'd want me to do. If they're like, here's a Raptor engine, go work on it, it'd be like, derp, do you want me to break it? Because that's what's going to happen. But if they're like, hey, we're hiring social media people to kind of like help us connect with our community members, I'd be like, heck yeah, I'll do it. But they do that with like their own engineers they hire from the inside, so I wouldn't stand a chance. But yeah, that'd be a fun job. Just hang out at SpaceX all day, be like, hey guys, what's going on? I need to inform our community. That'd be the best job ever. Everyone tweet Elon, hire Cloud Liquor. Then he'll be so sick of me. I think he's already sick of me. Wow, 20th anniversary this month. Congratulations. It's a long time. It's awesome. Is there a mothership being built? The closest thing we have to a mothership would be Starship. And yeah, there's 2 of them being built, but they're just the orbital prototypes. I guess you might be able to consider the Artemis lunar space station thing might be like a mothership, but that's NASA, and they probably won't start building that for 20 years. I got the faith, though. I'll have faith in them. Oh, are we back? Nope. Pull this up so you can help me keep an eye on it. You guys like my shirt? It's a Falcon Heavy. It's kind of crooked though, but it's spitting out Lego pieces on the bottom of it. I designed it because I'm creative when I want to be. Visit to Area 51. Yeah, that's a smart idea. What's going on with that, by the way? Did they call that off yet? Because the guy who originally, set that up was just doing it as like a joke, but I bet he's all over the government's radar now.
Environment. As you can see from the map, we're coming over equatorial Africa. This is the best place to do the burn to change the orbit. So burn's coming up. Let's listen in.
Falcon Heavy isn't crooked. It's just doing a roll program. That's actually what I thought of when I got it too.
And recognition.
It's pretty cool.
We've got good ignition. Chamber pressure is on target. Now this burn is going to last about 1 minute. As you can see from the velocity counter, we're going to add about 2.6 kilometers per second. That's how much velocity we need to put into the orbit to get from the low Earth parking orbit we started from into the final geostationary transfer orbit required by the Spacecom customer.
Next year is when Falcon Heavy is going to fly next. At least that's the plan.
Beginning to throttle down the second stage engine to keep G-loads on the spacecraft underneath the required levels. Getting ready for shutdown of the second stage engine.
I can't write my wife a letter for our 5-year anniversary. You have no idea who this woman is. She is a grammar Nazi. She critiques everything. Like, we'll be looking at a brochure or something, and she'll be like, that's a typo. Oh, they misspelled that. Oh, that's a period, not a comma. It's just ridiculous. I cannot write her a letter. That's a terrible idea. But thanks for trying. And besides, she can smell bull crap from a mile away. Like, if I tried to write her like a love letter, she'd be like, no, that's not you.
Out a nominal orbit insertion. Looking into plots, it's a really good looking orbit for the Falcon 9. Still carrying
Look how happy
the
John is.
Spacecraft on top. So now that we're in a good orbit, we're going to be coasting for the next 4.5 minutes or so. So we're going to stop live commentary, but we'll be back at T plus 31 minutes, 30 seconds for the final event, the deployment of the AMOS-17 satellite.
Thanks, John. We'll be right back to you too. So, yeah, the love letter thing for our anniversary would be a good idea if my wife wasn't my wife. Instead of like roses and stuff, she likes Skittles. That's the kind of woman she is. She's awesome. That's why I married her. But if I ever try telling my wife, "Hey, honey, I love you," she'll be like, "What do you want?" or "What'd you do?" That's the kind of relationship we have. So yeah, taking her on a cruise would be awesome. We went on a Disney cruise a couple years ago, and we've been wanting to go back on a cruise since then, but they're expensive. They're expensive. Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii too, but it's kind of crazy. We can find cheaper destinations in like the Dominican. We've been to the Dominican before, but if you've been keeping up on current events, you'd probably know that if you go to Dominican right now, you're gonna die, because that seems to be the current theme. You either get beat up, really sick, or die. So we're not going to the Dominican again. We've been to Jamaica once, and that was different. That was kind of scary at times. The trip to the Sandals Resort on Jamaica, let me just say, was death defying. Those people are crazy. Take her to a library. Count them. That's a great date. She does like going to the library, and she did just say she wants to go visit the local library sometime. Maybe we could do that. Ice cream in the library until we get kicked out. Yes. She'd probably be the only person that could annoy the library staff. Like, you understand how many typos, how many books I found out of place? Buy her, Dan, you are full of terrible ideas, Dan. Buy her a cat. You know Carrie hates cats. You know this. Actually, I don't think she hates them, but she strongly prefers dogs. Take her to the ISS. What is the price? $55 million per ticket to the ISS once they start allowing paying customers to go. Yeah, I think the price was $55 million for 30 days on the ISS. We got that. That's easy. That's chump change, right? Should let John take her out on a date. Yeah, it's a win-win. Here, honey, just go on a date with John here. Chicago is about a 5-hour drive from here. It's doable, but it's Chicago. It's like the murder capital city of America right now. Or is that Baltimore? I can't remember. Yeah, $56 million, $55 million. That's crazy. No, I'm serious. Oh, John's back. I'm serious, though. I need to think of something or I'm going to get in trouble.
In the heart of Beastock ground stations, that's where we're getting ready to get telemetry of payload deploy. That should be coming up in about 40 seconds from now. Now, currently, the second stage flight computer will send a command to the separation band that clamps AMOS-17 to the Falcon 9. The band opens, and small springs between the spacecraft and the second stage will open, gently pushing the satellite away from the second stage.
So intense.
Good view of the AMOS-17 satellite from the camera atop the second stage, waiting for payload separation event.
Oh, Texas Roadhouse. That's a great idea. They have great
confirm spacecraft
butter
separation
for their rolls. There she goes. This always reminds me of Kerbal. This will always remind me of Kerbal.
Always great to see the spacecraft floating away from the Falcon 9 second stage. So we've got a good deployment on time. We're in the desired orbit. And with that, we're going to bring our webcast to a close. But it's been a great webcast for the...
That it has, my friend. That it has. So you took your wife for your anniversary to Walmart. Someone said the zoo, and Walmart might be a better choice because at least you can people watch at Walmart, and they have low prices. The zoo is full of kids, and my wife and I don't have kids for a reason, and that's just because we don't have the patience. But yet we went on a Disney cruise and somehow survived that. It's probably because they had free ice cream, all you can eat. Does the zoo have that? It's probably like $30 a cone. The zoo's a good idea. We might have to do that. We haven't been to the zoo in years. The Columbus Zoo, where Jack Hanna is. Take her to Mars. Take her to Mars and leave her there. She'd love it, just to get away from me. Well, you guys, I will take all your bad ideas into consideration. Let's see, we got Walmart, the zoo, Texas Roadhouse, Hawaii. Hawaii would be awesome. I need to get to Hawaii sometime. I wonder how far of a swim that would be. Yeah, so you guys keep thinking of good ideas for me. My anniversary is not until the 16th, so we got some time, all right? Cedar Point. How many of you have ever been to Cedar Point with roller coasters? It's in Sandusky, Ohio. Oh, someone just said Cedar Point. How about that? That's a coincidence. I was thinking maybe Cedar Point because we do need to go on some roller coasters. Maybe I can throw up on her. Six Flags. Here's the thing. I got to be careful when it comes to amusement parks. I know they're nothing like carnivals and fair rides, but my wife, being the lawyer she is, has experience with representing companies that have gravely injured or killed people on fair or carnival rides. So it might take some convincing to get her on an amusement park roller coaster. I don't know. Ooh, yeah, they have that new Star Wars center at Disney World, or is that Disneyland? I can't remember. But I think it's at Disney World, this new Star Wars thing. But the Disney World itself now is like, I heard it's like pretty dead now that the Star Wars park opened up, which would be sweet. We are going to Disney World in October, at least that's the plan. For one, because my wife's family loves Disney, and for like the first time in 5 years, they're bringing me on the trip because I don't have to work. I don't have to teach, so I get to go to Disney World, eat food. That's all I get excited about. I just get excited about eating the food at Disney. That's it. I mean, the rides are cool, but they're nothing. But once you go to Cedar Point, like, not even Disney World can keep up with the rides at Cedar Point, man. Tallest roller coasters in the world and stuff. The rides are fun, but mainly it's all about the park food, yo. I could just sit there and eat park food and get fat all day at Disney, which is probably a good thing I don't go all the time. I would love to take her to see a launch, and she has expressed very much interest in going to see a launch, but she has a really busy schedule. So I'm thinking we might have to do something locally like Cedar Point, or dinner and I don't know, maybe we'll play poker or something. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in today. I appreciate all your suggestions. I appreciate your support for the channel. Again, if you want to become a Patreon member, I got a Patreon link in the description. If you want to have a little zero-G indicator toy and support the channel that way, link in the description. Yeah, thank you guys so much. And again, not another SpaceX launch until November unless something changes. But we got the Starhopper Hop coming up next week, and I should be in Boca Chica for that, God willing. All right, guys, until that time, I'll see you on a Saturday morning for the next SpaceX in the News episode. And after that, it's Boca Chica. Godspeed. I got to get my intro out. I wasn't prepared for it. I got to keep talking until I find it, but it's hard to find things when I'm talking. Here we go.